Yeah, let's go. Welcome, guys, to the game number 2, Tongfu versus DT Club of the series. First game went to Tongfu convincingly. DT Club is going to open up the draft with the Alchemist, banning out the Visage and the Clockwork, and Tongfu will be taking out the CK and the Slug. That is very, very weird.
So Tongfu actually bans the Slark after picking it in game 1. Now, in game 1, there was a bug with Dota 2, which has been hotfixed. Every hero was draftable. It's probably the only game where we're going to see Earth Spirit or Legion Commander or a lot of these other heroes that aren't in CM for quite some time. Even Broodmother, I think, is a ways off from being added. So we missed the opportunity with her. We're not going to get to see any of them in CM for probably at least a few months. But we will get to see Elder Titan, Alchemist, and Crystal Maiden. I am not very excited because we see these damn heroes way too much.
Yeah, Elder Titan has received a significant nerf, I would say, to the Spirit now. The Spirit is not as good as before to scout out the support, so I would say Elder Titan could have been... That was a very, very good nerf without taking away too much of the hero's team and potential, so the nerf would make sure that he's not so useful in the offlane anymore. But
yeah, the damage nerf is a pretty big deal for his laning, but like you said, he's still very strong in team fights.
The damage is 20 damage. I don't really mind the damage. It's just that the effect of not being able to scout out the supports because of the vision nerf on the spirits, I value that more than the 20 damage, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think we talked about this a bit yesterday, and we both were on the same page there. I still think the damage nerf is significant, though, because it's not really 20 damage. You have to remember that when you factor in natural order, if you remove 20 damage from it, it's probably, what, like 30 to 40 damage? Or close to it, when you factor in the magic reduction as well.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty... Even taking off 20 damage is still a decent amount. But at the same time, he still has natural order, and that is ultimately his most important ability.
Yeah, that is just why he's always picked up over and over again. I don't think you can necessarily nerf the aura. I don't know how you nerf it, but Icewalk has been just doing tweaks onto his spirit so far. But DT Club will be getting the Bristle back, which is, I would say, the flavor of the month now. All the teams have been picking up this hero.
He's strong. I don't think he's broken or anything. I think he's a little bit overvalued, to be honest, especially when I see Pugna barely getting picked. I think Pugna is more stronger than Bristleback, honestly, but we don't see him very often.
Maybe it's because, like, the way the game moves revolves around the offlane now, so Bristleback could be a very strong pickup. And if you want to pick up Bristleback, I think you should always do it on the Dire side, since you can abuse the ancient camp stacks and get levels and farm really quickly. It's much more difficult on the Radiant side, but it's still possible though. But it's much more difficult.
That's a really good point, because when teams first started picking Bristleback, nobody was doing the ancient stacking, and then they started, like, I think it was only like the past few weeks that we've really seen a lot of teams doing it. So that's a recent development, and it's a very crucial one. The first game I saw him get played was actually IG ran it for YYF, and they did it on the Radiant offlane, which he did fine, but it wasn't that strong or anything. But yeah, with the Ancients stacking, it gives you a lot more flexibility, but you can counter that. You just need to ward it or contest it.
Yeah, Paladin was just constantly using his hero to block off the Ancient Camp yesterday against Speed. Not against Speed, against Titan. He was blocking off Ohio from stacking the camps that early on, so it slowed down the Bristleback significantly in the game, but overall, he still managed to get some stacks off later on the game, so he still managed to catch up. He does the stack a lot faster than a Beastmaster would do.
Yeah, definitely agree. And Tongfu's gonna go Timbersaw, so I say that like I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not. Obviously, Timbersaw is very strong. He's also really good against Bristleback in particular. Bristleback and Alchemist, both of whom are strength heroes, and losing their strength really hurts them. So I like this choice a lot. And it also, the pure damage does get reduced by Bristleback, but it's still a lot of damage, and that's really what you want against Bristleback, is just huge bursts to kill him quickly before he gets to stack his quills.
Yeah, same as the OD pickup. You can also use OD pure damage against Bristleback, but it still gets slightly reduced by his passive, but it's still going to do a lot of damage to him. And Timbersaw, if you noticed recently, he has getting picked less and less and less. Initially, he was always in the first pick phase and first ban phase, but now he's in the second ban phase, in the second pick phase, and sometimes he's not even picked, not even banned.
Yeah, he's just like off hot and cold for seemingly no reason. I mean, the hero's always a decent pick. He really struggles against Doom, and some teams have been favoring Doom a bit. So, I think that's one situation where it's really annoying to play Timbersaw. But
Do you actually think that Clockwork is going to be far stronger in Timbersaw? But because it used to be the Clockwork and Timbersaw now, but it's only the Clockwork being first pick and first ban right now, not the Timbersaw anymore.
I think Clockwork's just more useful because Timbersaw needs a lot more farm is the main thing, whereas Clockwork you just need like the basic items to initiate, and if you shut down if both heroes are hard to shut down, but if you shut down a Timbersaw, doesn't do much later on, whereas it's very hard to do, but Clockwork always useful for the initiation until the enemy team gets a bunch of force staff. So I just think Clockwork brings more to the table and is more of like traditional, good initiating offlaner. Timbersaw is like kind of an interesting and unusual semi-carry, but there are a lot of other heroes that do big damage.
I like Timbersaw because on the off lane you don't get farm, and Timbersaw is one of those heroes that you get farm really quickly, you catch up later on if you don't really have a good start, but you're still going to be able to catch up. Clockwork is a hero which basically don't have any catch up ability, you just have to rely on your ganks and your team fight, so that's why I like to pick Timbersaw sometimes on the offlane over Clockwork because of that reason. He has that comeback potential. You are able to farm and come back later in the game.
By the way, Winter, some people are telling me that I'm too quiet and you're too loud, so you may
Okay.
want to try just lowering your microphone volume a bit on the stream, and then everyone can just turn their own speakers up. I don't know, maybe like 30% or something.
I know what's the problem. Never mind. I know what's the problem.
Also, my sound should be fixed in-game. I had to lower my mic threshold, so sorry about that, guys. It might suck anyway, because this is on one of the Perfect World servers, but it should at least be choppy instead of completely inaudible. Anyway, Mirana gets picked up by DT, and they have really good setup for Mirana this game. Alchemist and Bane. And I think if you can get those good setup heroes, then Mirana's really strong. Where I feel she struggles sometimes is when you don't have setup, because then you've got to be Sing Sing, and not everyone can be Sing Sing.
You know, Bane plus Mirana, Timbersaw cannot stand in that offlane, but if you look at their setup now, Elder Titan, Timbersaw, and Magnus, these three heroes are supposedly the core, unless they run the Elder Titan as a support. So each of these heroes, nobody can survive against the Bane and Mirana. Once you get sleep, you're gonna die on the offlane.
Yeah, and it's so much burst damage in general, like, especially once you hit level, I guess it's level, like, 7 or so, and you have max Starfall, or at least 3 points in it, 2 points in Arrow, and depending on the game, sometimes you get Moonlight Shadow at 6, but, yeah, a lot of burst damage, great killing potential, and also they just have an annoying lineup for Magnus to play against.
You know what, LD? I think you should always get Moonlight Shadow at 6. I think it's a really, really good spell to have at level 6. I don't think you should skip the spell since the mana cost is so low now.
Yeah, it's, what is it, 75 mana?
Yeah, 75 mana, and it's like a smoke.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's always worth getting, but the one downside is that your burst damage is a little bit lower until you hit level 8. Because normally people get 2 points in Arrow.
You have to play for the team, dude, now. You have to play for the team.
I agree. But sometimes missing that 1 point in Starstorm could be the difference. Especially since if you're counting on the double Starstorm. You lose like 125 damage, something like that. It's a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, but positioning is always the key. And I feel like the more and the longer people try and play Mirana, the better teams will be able to handle it. Like at the start, people just don't expect the Moonlight Shadow and you get ganked often. But as soon as people get used to it, get sentries ready all the time, the effectiveness of Mirana as a pick in the competitive scene would get lower because teams are just more used to playing against that hero.
Yeah, you would think people are used to playing against it, but it's hard now because, I mean, do you remember that game, the Tongfu? Oh no, sorry, it was Navi versus LGD China. I think it was an Alienware Cup. I don't know if you watched it, but it was the game where Funnick was farming Ancients as Mirana, and Denny was playing solo mid Pudge, as we see a Spectre for Tongfu. You do not want to teamfight Tongfu right now, but did you get to watch that game?
I'm not sure, I don't think so.
So basically what happened was Xiao 8 was up against Funnick farming Ancients as Mirana, and Dendy on Pudge. And he just, even though he dodged like 10 arrows or something, but eventually one hit him. And it's just like, you're constantly in fear of getting hit, and it really just is very disruptive to your playstyle.
Yeah, Pudge plus Mirana, that is very, very scary to play against. So guys, here comes second game of Tongfu.
Don't forget to remove your overlay, by the way.
Oh.
See? See? That's why I didn't want you to use it. You're lucky the stream's not delayed, but I got your back. I got your back, Winter.
You're remembering for me. So this is second game.
That was the first time I ever used an overlay like that. I forgot to remove it for 30 minutes. You have no. I was so embarrassed. I almost didn't stream. I almost quit streaming after that. That was my most shameful moment as a caster.
So on the Dire side, we have Tongfu, Kabu, the latest addition, playing the Timbersaw, Sansheng on the Crystal Maiden, ZSMJ on the support, Elder Titan. Mid lane, we have Mu on the Magnus. And finally, we have the captain, Drafter, Joe, the Burden on the Spectre.
Alright guys, on the Radiant side, we got my boys Dream Time, or DT. They are looking for their first game win, let alone series win here. If they lose this game, they will be 0-6 in all their games played and 0-3 in all their matches. Basically, they need a win for the morale and for any chance to advance out of Group A. Or is it A? I think it's Group A. Anyway, on that note, it is in July, going to be playing the off-lane Bristle boss. We'll have Air as the solo mid Templar assassin that puts super onto support Bane. Tuma Kazusa going to be Dreamy You going to be playing the Alchemist. And then Xiaotulei on the Marana.
First rune will be spawned on top. It's an invisibility rune. That is such a helpful rune for them. They already dropped a sentry to try and spot the off-lane ward, but they didn't manage to find it. It's so difficult, dude, to find the ward nowadays.
Yeah, with it, just with the slightly reduced AoE on sentries, and I don't know. It seems like that small nerf actually has made it a lot harder. Plus, teams just getting more creative in general with their ward placements.
It's a game of guesses. It's either the ward is either here, or it's either here sometimes, or it's either sometimes even here. There's 3 spots they can put the ward in.
And this one is very far away from being a successful D ward.
Yeah, this is really far away.
I don't. How do you feel about support Elder Titan? Because I'm not a big fan of it. He needs levels, and he's not good at zoning heroes out of the lane.
Yeah, I don't really like him as a support too, but I feel that you only do it if you must change up your draft and you must adapt to certain situations. You only do it if you don't have any other choice.
Okay, yeah, and I maybe there's something. Anything this game in particular, like any reason why you think they ended up making him a support and going? Because they went for the last pick Spectre.
Yeah,
well.
you remember how they started the draft? They started with Timbersaw, Elder Titan, and Magnus, and actually the Magnus was the 4th pick. They started with CM, Timbersaw, and Elder Titan, so quickly picking up their cores, and they proceeded to pick up a Magnus as well. So that tells the story that they were going to change something up. They felt that the cores won't be strong enough to win the game, so they have to make a change with the Elder Titan downgrading to a support role so they can pick up another core like a Spectre to be much more effective during the mid and late game.
I think maybe the one big problem is GT has I guess a tri-core lineup really. Marana, Bristleback isn't like a full carry, but at least we'll give him half a core. Then they went for the TA mid, and I think Tongfu wasn't really expecting a TA pick. And they can't, I don't know, you can't rely on hitting one big RP on those 2 heroes, and late game Timbersaw doesn't really do anything against TA Marana because both heroes normally go for BKB.
Yeah, and you think about Tongfu's lineup, they have a very good lineup to team fight with the Magnus ultimate plus Elder Titan ultimate plus the Timbersaw spells. They're going to kill everybody with one blow. Whoever gets caught out in the RP will just instantly die from that.
So middle lane, they want to make a first blood happen here. They do have an unstable concoction. Are they going to get the sleep?
Wow, they just ran up. There was a lot of time for him to react actually just now. They have a double damage on the Alchemist as well. He's gonna go down for sure.
He should have dropped the acid spray first, but worried about maybe the skewer away. So with the DD, easy kill. Yeah, Mu was very slow to react there, to be honest. Being on land.
I thought he could have skewered away. There was a chance that he could have skewered away. There was a 1 second window of opportunity there.
Yeah, and they didn't really execute it perfectly. Like, if you just drop acid spray and instantly release the stun, he's not gonna have time to skewer, but because it does have a bit of a cast animation. But either way, it was the DD rune, way too much damage.
All that matters was the kill was secured.
The kill was definitely secured. So now they're gonna send the Alchemist top. I don't think. Well, they might be able to kill.
He's charging his stun. They want to kill Sansheng. Frostbite in July. Concussion comes on 2 heroes. Quill spray once more.
No acid spray. Oh, he didn't have mana for acid spray.
One more kill spray will take down the CM. Can he get in range? No boots, but CM has boots. No boots on the Bristleback. They're gonna have to force to go back. They can't get any kills here. Spectre getting really low as well. Needs to munch up some tangles.
I think they would have gotten 2 kills. On the CM definitely would have died, and I think the Spectre would have to the Quills as well, if they had the acid spray. So just very unfortunate he didn't have the
Yeah,
mana
he
there.
didn't have the mana. Like you said, the acid spray reduces armor, quill spray will deal more damage.
And now we're gonna see Moo looking for the 4-minute rune. Moo is doing really well mid. 15 and 5 against a TA. This is pretty impressive. Only down 4 CS. He is getting denied a bit, but you know, Magnus, he'll just bottle Crow. And I mean, when you run the TA mid like this, you expect to dominate the lane.
Yeah, and Timbersaw is getting very little from the off lane for Tongfu, so that's a really big downside for them. So if you check on the XP graph, the main XP that DT Club is leading comes from the off lane smoke coming out from Tongfu as well. Or they're gonna pick
Meanwhile,
up.
bottom lane, they got the arrow sleep combo that you were talking about.
They're gonna get air, skewer him backwards maybe. Oh, they didn't get the skewer on him. Frostbite
Scott
skewer.
stick, Scott refraction. Right into the tower.
Kabu TP's in for this as well.
Wow, that's some big hate. That's where Airs. I mean, he was screwed anyway, but Timbersaw just died bottom, so just extra unfortunate. Do you think he would have lived without the Timbersaw there? I think he might have been able to.
Maybe. There was a good chance that he might have lived if Timbersaw didn't come in. He hit him with the Timber Chain, so there was also damage dealt from there, and he almost managed to escape. So if the Timbersaw didn't TP over, there was a good chance that he might have made it out there alive.
They want to go on top lane again, but Joe's gone for early phase boots. This combo, I don't think they're killing Spectre. Maybe with one more hero, but the TA is just going to be farming.
But no one can come. They're going to wait for the Bane maybe. The Bane's going back to base to heal up.
Yeah, I would like to see the Bane and the Alk stick together. The Bane's been useful. I mean, he got first blood mid, went bottom and helped Mirana get a kill, and she needs the help versus Timbersaw. She can't 1v1 that hero.
I think they're going to teleport the Bane up and just smoke in, because...
Yeah, I like this, because now Mirana's phase boots.
It's safer.
Mirana's phase boots, she doesn't really need help anymore.
Yeah, it's safer to smoke up instead of just trying to run up. Not knowing... Oh, they're just going to use the Moonlight Shadow.
Oh, Moonlight Shadow, so good. I love this. I love this from DT. This is really smart.
Yeah, it's better than the smoke. This is better than the smoke. They're going to engage in with the sleep, concussions, charging up. Gonna hit him with the acid as well.
Drop the acid first. Yep.
Nesselgu as well. Joe seems to be in a lot of trouble. He's gonna go down. ZSMJ has no spells at all as a support to save the carry.
Now TA's coming. I think they can get Sanction as well.
They're gonna charge up the stun.
Timbersaw no TP. Kabu
They need to
can't
see
come.
him. They need to see him. Yeah, they're gonna see him. Concoction drops on Sanction as well. Mel hit. Easy kill, but for the TA, so much damage.
Moo's in a bit of trouble. He might not die here, but he's gonna be driven back. No, not even gonna chase. Yeah, if Kabu had a TP, well, he's only level 4 actually. So yeah, he could have even
You don't want to help as a Timbersaw at this stage. You just want to get farm. Like you mentioned, Timbersaw is a core that you need a lot of farm on. He's not like a clockwork. You get a few levels, you rotate around the map, help your team. But Timbersaw, you need to stay put. He's more of a laning off-laner where you need to get a lot of levels and farm.
Yeah, I just like the way they've played this in general. Like, Mirana definitely needs the help early, so Bane's bottom helps her get a kill. Then she gets phase boots and Reign of a kill, and at that point, even with reactive armor, if you're the Timbersaw in this matchup, it's pretty hard to stay in lane when Mirana hits for almost 100 damage every auto attack. So once they secured the Mirana's lane, then the Bane rotates, and I think that's just really good decision making from these supports early on. DT are actually playing very well. I think this is their best game they've had yet in G League.
Yeah, and Bristleback, he actually already stacked up the camp here. There's 3 stacks, and he actually got a bottle. That's a first for me. I've never seen a Bristleback in G League that got a bottle.
He definitely needs mana. Like, he has mana issues. There's no Crystal Maiden on his team, but I think you should address that just with Magic Stick and Treads rather than going bottle.
Yeah, because you need all the item slots you can get. Bristleback, you need Magic Stick. You need your... If you're gonna build a mech, you need another item slot. And most of the time, players want to build a Vanguard as well. So if you get a bottle, you would have you have issues with your item slots. You don't have so many slots to keep all the small items.
Smoke. They're waiting for the mag to go for top rune, and they're gonna.
It's gonna get slapped. Concoction stun charges up. Acid stun. It's gonna stun and acid again. Doesn't matter. Still gonna get a kill.
I think he's afraid if he drops the acid first, then Magnus might have a chance to score away.
Better be safe than just wanting to deal that extra little bit more damage.
With the TA there, they don't really need the extra damage, so that's smart.
They're gonna just rotate into the jungle of Tongfu now, trying to constrict the space where Tongfu supports are farming. TA is gonna run in, try to drive ZSNB back. Joe is gonna get stuck in this corner. He has a TP scroll if he needs to get out of here. Kabu is pushing down the bottom lane.
Winter, they've done such a good job on Kabu. He's level 5. He's the same level as the Alchemist and Bane at 9 minutes in.
It's the problem with the lineup he's facing. He can't go out on the lane. He especially against a sleep into arrow. Usually in the off lane as a Timbersaw, you try to sneak levels with your reactive armor. You try to take a chance to get some levels and farm. But against a Mirana and Bane, you can't do that. Every single small mistake you make, you're just gonna die for sure. 100% after you get slapped. There's no way you're gonna survive.
For Tongfu, even though they're down 4,000 gold and 3,000 experience, or 3,500 gold, they have an amazing late game and team fight lineup. So I don't think you can ever count them out, but they are very far behind. And DT, I think if you're DT, you just need to occupy the enemy jungle, stay aggressive, keep on going for ganks, use Moonlight Shadow, smoke gank, and keep on forcing fights, because your team is way stronger right now than Tongfu's.
Yeah, Tongfu picked a really greedy lineup, Elder Titan and support, which doesn't give much of help to his team apart from the aura. He's gonna be the sleep, sorry, not the sleep, Moonlight Shadow caster. They're gonna run in with super, sleep on the Spectre, arrow to follow, Quill Spray. Magnus is gonna RP on 2 here. Super and Xiaotule is gonna get RP behind stop. Brain Sap on Joe. Joe is still really healthy here, 300 hit points. They're not gonna be able to get him. He's gonna just run out. That was just a wasted Moonlight Shadow there.
Well, it wasn't entirely wasted. The Alchemist
Yeah.
almost solo killed Timbersaw bottom lane. He got him down to like 150 HP. Just with the
They
assets.
actually made a trade-off with the RP as well, so all in all, it was still alright.
But yeah, it wasn't. Obviously, they'd like to get a kill there. Speaking of the Alchemist, he's going Midas. What do you think about Midas this game?
As a
It's a good game
support, as a support Alchemist, I'm not very sure because you are having the lineup against a Spectre. You don't want to take this game late. You want to be as aggressive as possible with your Bristleback and TA. So I'm not really sure about the Midas. If you get away unpunished, of course it's good. But if your team are trying to fight and you die because you don't have a 4-star or you don't have a vitality booster, that would be really bad for you.
Yeah, I'm also looking at the TA. The TA is going for more of like the pure like semi-carry build. The phase Yasha not going for an early Blink Dagger or BKB, not even going Drum. So there seems like DT wants to take this a bit later, which I think they can. I mean, they do have very strong minus armor lineup, but it's Spectre Magnus with Elder Titan backing them up. If you let it go late, your chances of winning get.
It's
just very easy to screw up one fight.
Let me ask you. You look at who is getting a Midas. Alchemist is getting a Midas, but your farming Mirana is not getting a Midas. If you're going to do that, you get 2 Midases on these 2 heroes.
I'd say Alchemist is actually better. Just because, I don't know. Ultimately, if you have a 6-slotted Alchemist, you'd rather have that than a 6-slotted Mirana.
Yeah, I mean it's part of the plan. If you already wanted to take the game later, why not just build 2 Midas on both the Mirana and the Alchemist? That's what I meant.
Yeah, you could. I guess she wants to go straight for Lincoln's. But yeah, I think she should go Midas if that's the plan. You're right. I'm with you, Winter. I'm on your side on this one.
Thank you. Thank you.
So if you're, I guess we've been talking a lot about DT Club, and they're gonna go bottom maybe, but what is the plan for Tongfu right now? They don't have Blink Dagger or Magnus. They just, I feel like they can't fight at all.
Super is gonna go in, sleep, cast a sleep. Oh no, he's not gonna be able to cast a sleep on
They're
the
baiting
Tabu.
this.
Alchemist is gonna take a charge up a stun here. Dreamy you sleep on Kabu. They're gonna stun. He's actually gonna stun on 2 here. Moo and Songchun gonna get stunned. Quill Spray.
It's so much damage. Just gonna melt. Oh, that combo is so strong. Combo's they're just gonna clean up. This is gonna be dead. Magnus is called back. I think he's gonna die again. Oh, in July. The plays.
Another concussion on 2 here. Joe.
That's a double team wipe. That was a buyback death again for Magnus. Didn't even get to use RP. Oh, good.
I'm losing you again on Skype. Oh boy. Whoops.
So they got 5-down wipe. They lost the Magnus again. And so actually triple kill. I think it's safe to say Tongfu is in a lot of trouble now.
Yeah, they are in a lot of trouble. This looks like the first game that DD Club will win here in the G League.
Hopefully, if I'm casting more, hopefully we'll get Mumble working before the next.
I think you should try to recall again. It's really bad now. I hope it's better now.
Dire's middle tower
or something, Winter.
Sorry, I was changing my settings there.
Okay. Yeah, so Mu just wasted RP. I don't think Tongfu can defend.
Yeah, I heard the RP, but I didn't see what happened. I was tweaking my settings. Did they try to kill someone or engage?
I think he... Well, he doesn't even have Blink yet. He just airballed it. He just got baited. But yeah, now TA's going... Let's see, is she... I think she'll go BKB here. Do you think there's any chance she goes like straight Deso?
I think there's a chance because BKB doesn't really prevent you from taking too much of the damage there. You still get stunned by the Elder Titan ultimate and the Magnus ultimate. So maybe he just gets greedy, goes for the Desolator to combine with the Nasal Goo and the reduction from the Acid Spray. That's a lot of armor reduction.
Okay, I definitely agree. I think you could go straight Deso, but it's a little dangerous against Timbersaw.
They're going to try and deny the tower. Timbersaw's going to get stunned by the Alchemist, but they're not going to go in there. They're really low. They don't want to overextend. Bottom lane, Magnus is pushing out the tier 1 tower. He's going to be able to get the last hit there. Take him closer to his dagger.
He screwed himself so bad when he died, bought back, and then died again. It's 15 minutes, and he still doesn't have Blink. And he did really well in the lane. Like, Mu was keeping up with TA, which is pretty hard, but that bottom fight was such a disaster for Tongfu. And you know, the problem with her is he's the one who starts the fights. Timbersaw is way too poor to start the fights. Elder Titan is not a good initiator. Crystal Maiden can't initiate at this stage of the game. She'll just die if she runs in.
Elder Titan doesn't even have a storm yet, so it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, he's only level 7.
Going to hit 8 soon. Maybe he gets a point in ultimate, or he just gets one more point in aura. I'm not very sure. Like some Elder Titan support players, they actually get their spirit at level 2 and they max the aura and get some points in Echo Storm early on, since you're not going to get too many levels as a support, so they prioritize in getting early levels in Storm instead of maxing the spirit.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of damage on their team, but only if DT like walks into the team fight basically. They just have no initiation right now.
Kabu's gonna pick up an Invis Rune at bottom. He's very, very poor as well, talking about the Timbersaw. Only has his Arcane Boot, 600 gold, and Magic Stick, nothing else.
So what do you think, what do you think Tongfu can do? Do they just have to get lucky now?
They need to delay as long as possible. There are chances of getting back in the game is during the team fights, when they're defending their towers. They need to rely on the combination of the Magnus and the Elder Titan.
Okay, I agree.
He needs
I
one
don't
more.
have much to add. I feel like that they're on the back foot. They can't really control the fights.
Yeah, he needs one more level for that to happen. He needs 1 point on his ultimate now, if they want to be able to contest the team fight. He's like spirit and aura now, nothing else.
By the way, this Mirana almost has Lincolns. It went Phase Boots, went Aquila, went Bracer, didn't rush the Lincolns at all, and didn't get a Midas, and we're barely 18 minutes in, or 17 minutes in. They're gonna smoke up and try and fight with the Blink.
Yeah, they're gonna try. Alchemist hasn't finished up his mech yet. They're gonna sleep up on Kabu here. Where is the arrow? Is the arrow coming? Arrow is gonna hit. Yes, another 5-second arrow on Kabu.
Nice
RP on 3 there. Mu is gonna skewer them backwards. Spectre casts his horn coming into the fight. Goo onto CM. CM is gonna go down here. July still wants to chase in. Kabu bought up for that. Super is gonna sleep again on Mu here. Timbersaw's gonna throw out the Chakram, deal some damage here. Mu is gonna go down again.
I don't think they can fight anymore. They don't have RP anymore. This is not gonna go.
Joe is gonna chase and try and get Xiao Zhule here, the Mirana. He doesn't see him.
Spirit? Dust? Oh, they get him.
So all in all, they're still gonna get one more hero here. ZSMJ is gonna go down as well.
GG. DT or Tongfu are done. Unless they get Joe? Actually, no. Sorry, they're not done. Okay,
Joe didn't die, right? They only lost the
Yeah.
CM. They lost 4 heroes: CM, Timbersaw, Elder Titan, and Magnus. But they didn't lose the carry.
Not GG, but it's still looking very good for DT. Even though Joe he's still like 4 or 5 minutes off of Radiance, I would say. 800 gold until the.
I feel like they can still win with the Radiance, but it's gonna be really hard, depending on how they take a fight. They need to have a good initiation, and like I said, the last fight they got a 3-man RP, but they still lost the fight because they didn't kill the heroes instantly.
Look at these pickups. They have Deso, they have Linkage. They could just go Roche right now. There's no RP, and there's nothing Tongfu can do. I was about to say, DT just need to be really decisive right now. If they get passive and let the Radiance come out, and they don't do anything, then they're in trouble. But they're going to take Aegis, and I think after this Aegis Witcher, you just go right down mid.
Yeah, you continue the pressure. You don't let Tongfu breathe at all. You don't give them space to come back. They would roughly know the Spectre Radiance won't be coming in the next 2 to 3 minutes. So this is their biggest window of opportunity now, with the Aegis picked up by TA to go and just try to at least take 1 or 2. At least, I would say they would be able to take at least 2 tier 2 towers here with the Aegis.
Yeah, I do have to correct myself. It's definitely not GG, because this late game lineup of Tongfu is very scary. But if DT play it right, I would say there's like an 80 to 90% chance they should win. But, well, they are the weaker team, so maybe we dock them a few percentage points there. But they're playing very well. Even if they lose, I think they should feel good about this game regardless. But obviously they don't want to settle.
Yeah, they're gonna go in high ground here.
Oh, ZSMJ!
Arrow's gonna hit ZSMJ. He's gonna get stunned up as well. Sleep will be casted on the Timbersaw. Fiend's Grip as well. 2 heroes right down the back down. Mu is gonna skewer the Alchemist, but to no avail. He's gonna go down as well with that last hit on the Desolator.
Okay, still diving. They can Rax. This is Rax.
This is Rax. This is Rax. There's
And
no
they
question about it. Desolator, so much damage from their heroes. This is just Rax.
Wow. DT are doing it. I'm very impressed.
They just got caught off Tongfu. They have to delay the push. They can't really get caught out like this. They're gonna TP back. Well, TP back? Really? They're not even gonna finish the range Rax?
Oh, well, it's not. The range Rax isn't the biggest deal, but yeah, they should have finished that.
Why? There's still like 10 seconds on the Magnus. Why wouldn't you do it? It's just no questions about that. Like, there's nothing wrong picking them.
This is where the whole they're in team chat. They're like, guys, don't throw. We're actually beating Tongfu. Don't screw this up.
Okay, we don't need the range back. We just need to go back and catch up, farm all our lanes, get back to a push later on. Spectre doesn't have Radiance.
You've had those games, right, where you're up against like a really strong opponent and you're just like, you're actually winning and you don't want to throw it or mess it up. So you're just like, guys, play safe, play safe.
That's actually what happens in scrims a lot, and someone gets mad and somebody just says, guys, we're not going to throw this game again. So
yeah, get the throws out of your system in scrims. That's the best idea. They're going on Joe mid. And
Super gonna sleep him up. Is Mu gonna wake him up? Mu didn't wake him up. Oh boy, he's gonna skewer in.
Oh, he missed effort. No, he cancelled it. Nice.
He managed to cancel it, but he's gonna die. Joe's gonna die. I think that's
they
about
can't
it.
Fight. They lost both of their cores again.
Super's gonna grip Sunshine again. This is too much. This is GG. They can't afford to lose the Spectre there.
Well played. Dreamtime doing work. 23 to 4. They just clowned on Tongfu. That was easy.
That was easy. That was really, really good performance by them. I would say the Alchemist and the Bane did really, really well this game, moving around the map, creating so much space and ganks around the Spectre. So he was severely slowed down in his farming early on because of all those rotations by the support. Too much pressure, and you have to again question the Magnus this game. Had a good start in the lane, but a lot of questionable decisions, and the draft as well for Tongfu was really greedy, having the Elder Titan as a support.
I think, yeah, it was the two things. Greedy draft, weak laning support, and Elder Titan who can't zone the Bristleback out of the lane. Very strong supports from DT, and they did a lot of work. They First Blood mid, Bane rotates bottom, gets the Mirana kill. Mirana gets an early point Moonlight Shadow. They had the good team fight top, but the big tide turner was that 5-man wipe with a Magnus buyback and dying again. So really a 6-man wipe bottom. I think that's the fight where Tongfu lost this game.
Yeah, this is such a good game played by DT Club. For once, they played a really solid game. Not much team decision mistakes. Nothing really blunders on the early game. Those rotations were really good this game. So they totally deserve to win this game. So that's it for game number 2. We're going to go into a short break before game number 3 comes up. Stay tuned, guys.